Hey guys, and welcome to another segment of the grind of Run It to the King podcast. This is your host, DJ Joe, and we're back at it again. As you know, last episode we previewed the play-in, and our prediction did not come all the way right. As you know, we predicted Atlanta Hawks to beat um, to make the playoffs, but they got blown out, and that is tough because Orlando was not consistent. Like they showed up really, really big, and it's funny because they sweated so hard to beat the Hawks, but now they're gonna face one of the top teams in the Eastern Conference, which is the number two seed, um, Boston Celtics. Um, And the Hawks had another chance to advance tonight, but they just couldn't guard Tyler Hero. And Hero has played in huge back-to-back huge games. But it's not just him, as you know, it's the whole team. Divine Mitchell, former Raptor. He played huge down the stretch. And Trey Young did step up in his game. Okongwu stepped up in this game defensively. Dyson Daniels had a huge game. Levert hit some big shots. But you just have, like, doesn't matter if all your guys are, like, improved from the first play-in. If you cannot guard, especially Tyler Hero, uh, it's, you won't be making the playoffs. And that's what happened. And this season has been disappointing for the Atlanta Hawks after getting rid of DeAndre Hunter and Bogdanovich, two key pieces for the Hawks. I still do not understand to this day why they made those deals, but it did come biting up their ass because they played like shit, like in the first game and second game. Yeah, Trae Young tied the game up in the end, but we both knew that once overtime came, they just couldn't make a shot to save their life. So Miami deserved it. They played huge games in Chicago. We'll talk about that in a sec. So Miami Heat played the Chicago Bulls. Our prediction was the Chicago Bulls, and the Bulls just were just complete ass. Like they were at home and they can get it done. Josh Giddey had a season low in assist with four. Yeah, he had a double double, but he just couldn't get anybody going. Kobe White had a quiet game. Vucevic, I don't know what that guy was doing on the floor. Uh, but the Bulls like struggled. Patrick Williams kept breaking shots. Um, I don't know. It was just a big mess for the Bulls at home, and it was disappointing to end their Cinderella season because they've had a second half late run for the ages. They had huge games, and they're gonna have a nice off season, but I believe Josh Giddey can take this team wherever we want him to take it. Um, but Josh Giddey's a great player. But yeah, he stepped up scoring wise. But it wasn't just Josh Giddey. It was like the whole squad. And yeah, Josh Giddey sold my parlay with his four assists. But like the whole squad was complete like trash. Because I wanted the Bulls to actually win and be a surprising team, but just the way that they played at home from start to finish. Like they had one small run, but they only cut the lead to like 9 points. And Miami regained their big lead and it was game over. I don't know, I'm really disappointed on the Bulls, the way they played at home. Um, but let's move on. So Miami will face the number one team in the East, and it's the Cleveland Cavaliers. We'll preview the playoffs in just a second. And the final two plays in the West, the Kings had a chance. I told you guys that I predicted the Dallas Mavericks will beat the Kings, and they did. The Sacramento Kings, I don't know what the hell they were doing on that floor, but it was just, there's no chemistry. Because when De'Aaron Fox and Sabonis and Monk and all these boys, like there was actually chemistry, like a game plan, like running plays. But like DeMar scored 30 points. Good for him. But like, what did that do? Like, no disrespect to DeMar, but like that team was complete shit. Like Sabonis, who's like 17, 11, and 5, and a great center. Like, I don't know what he was trying to do. Zach LaVine just breaking ISO shots. DeMar doing his thing. Like, DeMar tried to carry this, but like, the Kings are just unlucky. They've lost in 5 consecutive play-ins, and that cannot happen. And I don't know what the Kings were thinking by training for Levine because the Rose and the Bulls, like he played with Levine in Chicago, and they did lose in the play-in. It's like I don't know, having these two volume shooters on one team is clearly not working because both players need the ball in their hands. So the Kings were disappointing, not to me, but like to everyone. But I knew this was gonna happen. I knew Dallas was gonna upset them, and they did. And everyone played well, especially Anthony Davis. And but coming to the next play, because Dallas have to win 2 games as the 9 seeded, as a 10 seeded team, and and AD had a huge game. It surprised a lot of people, but as a Laker fan, that's what he does. And yeah, he gets injured every 3 plays down the floor, but AD is no joke. He dropped 40 points, 9 rebounds, but it was only him because the one player that messed up my parlay and that was complete trash was PJ Washington Jr. Answer this question, PJ. How do you go into a play-in and wear the disguise of 2024 play-in Clay? Because remember, Clay scored 0 points last season against the Kings in the play-in. Well, this year, PJ Washington took his spot. Man played 27 minutes, had 0 points. Like in my parlay, like it was perfect. I only needed him 5 points. Is that too much to ask for a professional athlete to score 5 points? That's crazy. So the Grizzlies, they blew them out, the Dallas Mavericks, and they will face the number one team in the NBA. Now that's gonna be easy for OKC. So yeah, so let's start with OKC vs the Grizzlies. The Thunder, as you guys all know, top seed in the West, face the Grizzlies, as you guys also know, who secured the final playoff spot. Like, I wouldn't say it's a sweep because that would be disrespectful. But you guys, like, I don't want these clowns on watching my video or those bums like on TV. Like, look at the rankings. Playoffs does not matter. A decade ago, the Spurs were the number one. They faced um, the Memphis Grizzlies and they lost. They got swept. And then another year they lost in 5 games. Those were the Dynasty Spurs days. But like it's not gonna be a sweep against OKC. I think OKC will win in 5. Unless if Ja plays like Ja. If Desmond Bain keeps playing what he's been playing the last 3 games and Jaren Jackson wakes up and Zach Edey does his thing, this should be a 6 game. I could say maybe 7, but that relies on Ja Morant. But we got OKC winning in 5 games. Next is the Denver Nuggets um, against the LA Clippers. And this is going to be nice to see because with these two teams, they have faced many times in the playoffs and has gone always on Denver's side. But this those past Clipper teams were not built different. But this Clippers team, I hope they're built different with a healthy Kawhi, with a consistent James Harden. Because this is the question mark here. Is James Harden? You know, it's not just James Harden. It's Ivaka Zubac, Norman Powell. Like they got a bunch of guys, but first start is James Harden because you know who Kawhi is. 2-time Finals MVP, former Raptor, former NBA champion. We know what the healthy Kawhi because the important word we're looking is healthy, but he's healthy right now. But the question is James Harden because James Harden has a history of having huge regular seasons, but when the playoffs important games start, like his past 2 game 7s, he scored less than 10 points. And you cannot be a professional elite athlete and scoring less than 10 points in the game 7. That's crazy. So, so James Harden needs to step up. And the Denver Nuggets are struggling. They need to be healthy. Jokic need to do what Jokic does. And the other guys need to do what they're supposed to do. Because all these Michael Porters breaking shots, Jamal Murray gets injured all the time, inconsistent. We need a full consistency. They need to know their job, and they should win this game in 6 games. But the way the Clippers have been playing, the Denver Nuggets cannot turn, turn over the ball. They cannot be in foul trouble because if the Denver Nuggets start to fool around, the Clippers have a chance of beating this team in 5 games. So the Denver Nuggets need to step up. Yeah, they've been dealing with the drama with Russell Westbrook, with their head coach being fired. And that brings to another point. Russell Westbrook is the X factor here. We don't want to see those blunders, those unnecessary fouls or like volume shooting. No, that cannot happen, guys. Because if it does happen, Nuggets are done. But we got Clippers in 6 games. Next is the Golden State Warriors playing the two seed Houston Rockets. And again, don't look at the rankings because the playoffs is if you start 0-0. And I think with just look at the Rockets. Like you want guys want to talk rankings. I think they're the worst second seeded team of all time. Yeah, we don't want to disrespect the Rockets, but like, come on, man. That roster cannot win an NBA championship. I'm sorry, man. Like, yeah, they'll make some noise, but like Fred VanVleet, Jalen Green, Albert Şengün, and all these guys, and Eamon, well, like, bro, Eamon Thompson is not him. He's not that guy. You are not that guy. Like, there's a worst second seeded team of all time. Anyways, let's move on to the big picture. The Golden State Warriors have Steph, they have Butler, they have Green, they have all these guys. And I think the Warriors can make a gentleman sweep here, but that would be disrespecting the Rockets. But I think I got the Warriors in 6 games. Because I know, the Warriors, they always like to turn over the ball, and Houston Rockets love shooting threes. And I don't want to hear Eamon Thompson guarding Curry and Curry's not scoring 3 points again, especially in the playoffs. So, like all these people that are cheering for the Rockets, good for you. But they're not going far in these playoffs. You'll you'll be crazy. But I got the Warriors in the 6 games, and the last playoffs in the West, which is probably the most anticipated like matchups in the West, probably in the whole NBA playoffs, is the Timberwolves against the LA Lakers. This right here is a time for LeBron to get his ring. This is the time for Luka Doncic to to make people stop disrespecting him. This is time for Austin Reeves to show he's one of the most improved players. This is the time for Jackson Hayes to not just be a screensaver, to be important on the floor. Same thing with Roy Hachimura. This is the time for him to make people believe that he's actually a 3-and-D guy. This is your chance to stop one of the elite teams and one of the teams that I have winning the NBA championship, other than the Cavs, OKC, Celtics, and Lakers, is the Minnesota Timberwolves. And just by saying that means Ant-Man needs to play like Ant, not like Anthony Edwards. He needs to play like the Ant-Man he is. Rudy Gobert needs to play what he's here for, playing D, blocking shots, dunking on people, setting hard screens, make momentum. You want a flagrant foul guy? If that's gonna wake up your team, go ahead. Julius Randle needs to play consistently as he has been since he came back from injury. But I got the Lakers in 7 games. This is going to be a nice playoff matchup. And we need to see because both teams and both stars of each team need to step up. And the key piece is LeBron James and Anthony and Ant-Man. These two players, yeah, Doncic always does his thing, but LeBron and Ant needs to play elite as they have been. Well, LeBron's been doing it for 20 years, but like Ant-Man needs to be elite. if you want to shut down these Lakers and make one of the biggest upsets in this whole NBA, they need Ant-Man. But that's it for the West in the Eastern Conference. So the number one seeded Cleveland Cavaliers will face the Miami Heat. The Cavaliers, led by Spider, will take on he who advanced through big game from Hero in the play-in. But there's nothing really to talk here because Cavs are winning this in 4 games. And this is not disrespecting Miami, but Miami does not. Yeah, you got Hero. Hero is probably gonna have big games, and Bam needs to step up. Bam's playing too soft. Like if the Miami Heat are gonna do one of the biggest upsets in NBA history, they need big games from Tyler Hero and Bam Adebayo. And seeing what Divine is doing, he needs to keep that up. But again, the Cavs are not a soft team. They're a real team. Um, and they're elite. And they're one of the top. And I don't want to talk about rankings, but just the way the roster is built for the Cavs, it'll be too easy. And I got the sweep on the Miami Heat. Next is the Boston Celtics against the Orlando Magic. The Celtics were aiming to join the Kobe's, the Shaqs, the Currys, yada 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 for back-to-back championships. They'll face the Magic, as you guys all know, who um, who blew out the Hawks in the plane, but bro, no, this it's gonna be Celtics in 5. Orlando will win 1 game on at home court, but that's it. Celtics are winning this game. There's nothing more to talk about, and I don't want to hear the Paulo Banchero or Franz. And nah, they're not. They're not at that level yet, and they've been struggling like in the second half. Lost to lowly teams, and and if you're calling yourself a playoff team, those kind of games you gotta win. But the Celtics will roll over there won't be any magic here. Um, it'll be easy as they'll beat them in 5 games. Next, we got the Bucks and the Pacers, and this is the second matchup the third matchup. The next one is also a good matchup, but this is the second matchup in the NBA that's going to be a must see because these teams are similar. When I say this, it it's funny because you cannot be an MVP candidate playing with the elite point guard and be having similar games to Indiana Pacers. And that's Giannis. Giannis in clutch cannot do nothing, man. Like he's like not trustworthy. And Dame, it was just recently reported that he's free of the blood clots. His game 1 status is uncertain, but like even with Damian Lillard, they have struggled all year long. Like yeah, right now they were on a 6, 7 game winning streak, but they had a horrendous start. They had a good run prior to All-Star break. After All-Star break, they were on that winning streak, but they're still losing meaningless games. Like, yeah, as I just said, meaningless, but these are kind of games that you need to. The only time you lose is elite teams, not trash teams, like the Wizards. Like they beat the Bucks multiple times, but like that's really bad. And I wanted Giannis like to go to the finals again and like dominate all the way to the finals, but there's no domination here. Because it's funny how the Bucks have struggled to beat the Pacers. Yeah, they blew them out one game, but all the other games, they blew the lead. And the Pacers have a good squad. They got Tyrese, they got former Raptor Pascal Siakam, they got Nemhart, Turner, Toppin. But the key piece in this matchup is not Giannis. It's not Damian Lillard. For the Bucks, it's Gary Trent Jr. and Kevin Porter. These are key pieces, and Brook Lopez. And for Indiana, if they're gonna win this and do a mini upset, the important guy here is Miles Turner. He needs to play like his job. Like he needs to play the way he's supposed to play. Because he cannot be a 6'11 center grabbing less than 4-3 rebounds. And that's crazy. So Turner is the IT factor here. And surprisingly, I got Indiana beating the Bucks in 7 games. And the last matchup for this NBA playoffs preview is the New York Knickerbockers against a bad boy Pistons. And this is going to be nice because this is was a big rivalry in the 80s, 90s, 70s, 60s. It's been going on for a while. And it's gonna be nice because it's the playoffs. They don't like each other. And you know how this year the Pistons they took it to another level with Cade Cunningham and Tobias Harris and Ron Hall and Stewart and all these guys. But everyone needs to step up. If they're gonna beat the Knicks on the big stage, Stephen A's New York Knicks, the Pistons have to play the way they've been playing this season. Cade is gonna go off. I know. I already know. But the Pistons need to play the bad boy and to be smart. And for the Knicks, you got Cat. You're still losing games. Like you made a big trade, and I think they should have never made that trade because Randall was like the playmaker with Jalen Brunson. But it happened. But Cat needs to play better and stop shooting threes. Just go inside. You're huge, you're tall. He needs to get in paint. Jalen needs to play at his A game. Yeah, he came back from injury, but no one wants to hear those excuses. And Josh Hart needs to start making threes. But for the Knicks to win, as I told you, the whole squad needs to play good. OG Anunoby's got to guard. He's got to shoot the three consistently. And the key piece for the Knicks is not Jalen, is not Cat, is not OG, is Mr. Miles Bridges. Mikal Bridges, my bad. Mikal Bridges is the key piece here. And for the Pistons, as you guys all know, the key piece is Cade Cunningham. Wherever Cade goes, the whole team follows. And Stewart needs to keep being a bad Piston because he needs to get to the Knicks' head, throw them off their game. But surprisingly, I got the Knicks in 7 games, but I wouldn't be surprised if Pistons will beat the Knicks in 6. But the Knicks' winning time is now. They should not lose in the first round. But guys, that's it for the NBA playoffs. Now, um, we're going to do the NHL Stanley Cup playoffs, as NHL will also begin tomorrow. There'll only be a few games, but let's start this time in the Eastern Conference. What a playoff matchup this is, boys. The Toronto Maple Leafs will face the Ottawa Senators uh, for the fifth time in their history. And as you all know, the Leafs have won the last four playoff matchups. Last came in 2004, and we both know what happened there. The Senators, not, I don't want to say the team choked, but Patrick Lane choked in that game seven. But this time, both teams have they play different way. Everything's different. The Leafs are one of the top teams in the NHL. They won the Atlantic Division as they will face the rival Ottawa. And this matchup doesn't come at a better time because the Leafs, yeah, they won in the first round last year and ended that huge streak, that decade worth of streak of not winning a playoff series. But this comes at a perfect time because they have dominated the Sens in the past in the playoffs. And with their first round curse, Um, I think it comes at a perfect time to face their provincial rivals, Ottawa Senators. And bro, Ottawa's not winning this one, boys. Y'all be on some next level drugs if you think Ottawa will beat the Leafs. Bruh, I got the Leafs winning in four games. It'll be, nah, I'm just joking. It won't be a sweep. That's just being wrong because the Sens have dominated Toronto this year. So I got the Leafs winning in six games. And Ottawa has a good squad, but do they have the right squad? Obviously not. But the Leafs will win in six games. Next, we got the Tampa Bay Lightning, the second seed, playing the third seed, Florida. It'll be another great matchup because this is a sunshine showdown. You know what I mean? And the Panthers are trying to win back-to-back Stanley Cup titles. And this won't be easy. You got the guy who has the most points in the heart in Kucherov. And yeah, they lost Steven Stamkos, which is a big loss. But at the same time, Stamkos didn't do shit last year and the year before. So them losing Stamkos does not make a difference because they still ended up as a second seed. But I just think Florida have the experience. They just got Brad Marchand, and that adds up to the rivalry. Plus, Florida just, I don't know, they just domination over the Lightning this season, and they've dominated everyone. Only as of late, they've lost games to low teams, and they've been losing a lot of games. But expect this to be seven games. Florida. Next will be another great matchup. The Washington Capitals will face the red hot Montreal Canadiens. What a run by Montreal. Uh, did you guys know on this December 31st they were dead last in the NHL? And to make it all the way has been key for the Montreal Canadiens. And don't expect this to be easy for Ovechkin or for Capitals. Yeah, Capitals have had not a record-setting season, but they've had a big season. Congrats to Ovi for having his goal record, but this is not going to be easy because it's the Habs in the playoffs, and you know when they're in the playoffs, it's not always easy. And they're playing red hot hockey. But I got the Capitals in six games. Next, we got another great match, a great rivalry in the past. We got the Hurricanes playing the New Jersey Devils, and the Kings, they, like they're always high seed in the past 3 years, but they always choke in the playoffs, and I don't even trust them this year. Yeah, Sebastian Aho has been having a decent season, but they're still not built the right way. Like Frederick Anderson, former Leaf, that's why we got rid of him because he was not consistent. And for the Devils, they got the huge, they got big time elite players that show up. And yeah, Devils have choked in the playoffs in the past, but but compared to the Hurricanes, there's a big difference, like in the offensive side. The Brat, like nobody matches Brat. Like the closest guy is Sebastian Aho, but that's it. But I got the Devils winning in 5 games. So that's it for the Eastern Conference. For the West, the record-setting season for the Winnipeg Jets will play a team that also was in the bottom of the standings prior to All-Star break, and they had a 10-game winning streak in the Blues. Um, Now, for the Blues, they're trying to repeat what they did 5 years ago in 20 when they won the Sun Cup title in 2019. And this doesn't come at a better time for the Blues because as of late they've been red hot and they're facing a team that the President Trophy winners, the Jets. But you know that this word President Trophy does not work because the last four President Trophy winners have been bounced in the playoffs. And that's why as I told you in the NBA playoffs preview, rankings does not do nothing. It's when you go to the playoffs, it's 0-0. And I got the Jets winning in 5 games. Next, we got the Dallas Stars against the Colorado Avalanche, and this is all these matchups are elite. Another Central Division clash between uh, teams that have had great playoffs runs the last 3 years. But sorry, Dallas, but you got no matchup with that Colorado team. Cale Makar, Nathan McKinnon, like these two boys are like unstoppable. And I think Dallas does not have the rate. Like all these teams, all these clown teams that have qualified for these playoffs, their team are just not built. It's like the NBA Orlando Magic. They're not built to do nothing. And that's what I feel that Dallas is also like the Rockets. Like they're just been high this season. Like, I don't think they have the right roster, the right coach. They have one of the worst coaches in NHL history trying to teach them how to win. But I just have too much for Dallas to able to recover. I just feel it'll be a clean sweep by Colorado. Next, we got the Golden Knights playing the Minnesota Wild. And bro, this is not going to be close because the Wild have been having an up and down season, and with the drama with Ratton in it, like I don't know, just the Wild, they're a wild card team, and I'd be shocked if they beat the Golden Knights. The Golden Knights have been having playoff success. Like, yeah, they lost in the Stanley Cup final to Washington a couple of years ago, but like the Golden Knights, Ryan Stone, the boys, Jack Eichel, like these boys, like they're him, like they got what it takes, and they have been having great regular season as they have been, but hopefully the Golden Knights won't choke this time. By God, the Knights sweeping the Wild. And the last playoff matchup of this NHL preview is the LA Kings against the Oilers, and this is another great playoff matchup. Just because the Kings have had an amazing season. Congrats to them. Kopitar has been doing his thing, and he's getting old. And they almost beat the Oilers last season, but this time the Oilers have the experience of going to the Stanley Cup final, and they're built different. Things are different, and McDavid will again lead them to the finals. That's what my prediction in the West. Like Oilers will be all these clown teams. It's easy. It's yeah, Oilers they always face the big stage and they shrink, but like Oilers right now, like there's only three teams that can make a jump. Jets, four team Jets, Avs, Knights, Oilers. And bro, Oilers have a better offensive roster than all these teams. Yeah, their goalie has a lot of question marks, but I don't think it really matters. And I got the Oilers winning this in surprisingly six. But guys, thank you for tuning in to an episode of Run It to the King podcast as we previewed the NHL and the NBA playoffs. Make sure to subscribe us on YouTube, follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, and listen to us on Spotify. This is your host, DJ Joe, signing out. Peace.